Cameron McCleary, coming live from the CMO Club Summit with the most amazing guest, Joe Frost, also known as the Supernanny. Hi, Joe.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thank you so much for coming. Your presentation, your talk was absolutely phenomenal, and I know it rocked a lot of us in the room because a lot of us are parents. So I wanted to thank you very much for your wisdom. And I have a question for you.
Yes.
For all those CMOs out there, what is the one thing that we can take away that would help us with our balance between work life and home life?
I think it's important to recognize that you don't find balance, you have to create it. You have to sort of take a step back, kind of SOS yourself, you know, and be able to observe where you need to be able to put more time in, to be able to find that schedule so that you can have more relationships that are more intimate with your family members, with your partner, so that you feel very fulfilled with what you're doing at work, but you also feel that at home as well. And that's an ongoing process. It really is. There may be CMOs in this room, but when they go home, they're mum and dad. They're mum and dad. You know, I think it's important for us to be realistic with our expectations and really look at the time that we do have, and to be able to plan that. I think it's important for us to have discipline with disconnecting in a world where we can very easily connect through technology, but the hindrance of basically being too connected on technology can disconnect us. Because as close as you can feel to your peers and your colleagues at work, you don't always want to share some of those situations that are going on at home. You're worried that people are going to judge. You're worried about what they are going to think of you. Are you capable of being able to handle certain situations because you don't show the same strength at home? And I think we have to be really conscious of that.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You do bring it into the workplace, even if you don't intend to.
And I think you've got to realize that that's what helps you be realistic with your expectations, because you know it is a process. How many times do you hear people say, "Oh, don't feel guilty. You mustn't feel guilty." I mean, that's really not a remedy, is it? No. You know, I'm going to feel guilty. I feel guilty. I'm working a lot of hours. But if you're really being sincere, with integrity, and actually doing what you're doing to give your family what they need, not what they want or desire in the world, but what they need, then one has to find peace within themselves. And that guilt is a process that you work through. If we could just dump that like the rubbish trash, we'd be great, wouldn't we? But we can't. We can't take it out with the trash and say, great, I'm feeling guilty, I'll just take it out and it'll be fine. You know, it's a process that we have to work through. So, you know, I think that's really the importance of being able to, you know, talk about not finding, but creating the balance and observing and being very mindful that if we can be present, if we can listen to our family, if we spend as much time as what we normally do, you can get that calendar out and say, okay, son, let's take a look at what we can do, you know, so that your family actually feel that you're making those efforts to connect and to be there. And I think that's incredibly important because we're all juggling. Yes. You know, we're all juggling with respects to doing the work that we're really passionate about. But at the end of the day, as human beings, we want those connections with our families. We want to know that our time that we spend is, well, it's priceless, isn't it? Let's face it.
The juiciest thing that I took away from your talk was when you so clearly brought up that when we bring out our phone or our device to record the family, that we're not actually present in the moment. We're behind some screen, either behind the phone or the iPad. And that is perfect because it is that presence. It is that FaceTime that you mentioned that's so important.
It's kind of the difference between being in the audience or actually being on the stage. You're now behind the camera rather in front of it. And I know we've become very obsessed, and I'm not saying that technology isn't something we should embrace, but please let's regulate. And let's understand that if you're going to bring technology into a part of your family gathering, then be mindful of that, because human behaviour can get a little bit lackadaisical, and we can end up crossing those boundaries, and we can end up taking things for granted, and the kids will be fine and they'll be great and they'll just go on the iPads and they'll just play with their phones and everything will be great. There is nothing better than actually sitting down or hanging out or playing ping pong and having a conversation face to face. There's nothing better for your child when you're sitting down at the end of a day and it's just your time with your child, and you're reading them a story and you're telling them about the day and what they've got to look forward to tomorrow, and you hear the phone ringing in your pocket. It's a distraction. Put it away. Do what I say, #family mode. That's it. #family mode, and let everybody know. You're not available for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, #family mode. And sit down and have a friendly chat. Kind of like what we're doing here, we'll have a chat.
Thank you so much. Your wisdom is so appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Frost, the Supernanny. This is Tamara McCleary reporting live from the CMO Club Summit.